We have Zakibiam out there that used to produce about 200, 300 trailers of yams every day, going to different parts of the country. All that has ended.
Right.
There are other areas of food production in Benue that have actually come to a halt because of this. The farmers have run away from their homes, so there is even hunger in Benue.
So guys, it will shock you to your bones to know that Tinubu came to Benway and was querying the IG of police on why he has not been able to arrest any of the Fulanis, the people involved in that attack. That means Tinubu is not even getting updates on the security and the situation of things going on in Benue State and even in Nigeria. For him to come out and begin to query the IG of police, why have you not arrested anybody? Now,
these killings have been going on, and we don't see arrest, we don't hear of arrest, we don't hear of prosecution, and so there is a reign of impunity. So what is happening? Why aren't people being arrested? Why aren't people being charged to court? Why don't we see the trial so that we know that there is impunity? And that goes to the head of the issue. So there is injustice. And so because of that injustice, you see that the people that are supposed to be protected by the state are exposed.
So guys, let's quickly take a look at some of the reactions coming from this headline. Benue killing, how come no arrest has been made? Tinubu queries IGP. Hey, Nigerians who... Hey, what are we not going to see under the Tinubu's government? So Tinubu has not been following, updates, has not been following up the trend and what is happening in Benue. For him to come to ask this question, Tinubu has been clueless. I mean, he does not know what is happening in Benue State. Nigerians, who did this to us? Who did this to us? How come they've not been any arrests made? Tinubu is querying the IG of police. They arrested 14 protesters. The government of Benue State sacked his aide for protesting, for joining the protest that happened a day after that attack. The Benue State governor sacked his aide for protesting, and the police arrested 14 protesters. Maybe they will be languishing in jail, but they refused to arrest the Fulanis that struck the people and killed many. Now Tinubu is asking how come no arrest has been made. None of the Fulanis are arrested. The Fulanis have rather come out to make a video threatening to come again for another attack. And people have been reacting to that video saying, oh my God, what is the DSS doing? You can imagine if this person was to be an Igbo man coming out to threaten the people of Benue, threatening the very dark man that is they are coming for more attacks. You can imagine if this person was to be an Igbo man, or even from the southwest, or even from any other region apart from the north. The DSS, the police, they would have just gone to pick this person up no matter where you might be hiding. But now you can see that this Fulani man came out to threaten Nigerians and nobody's talking. I'm just going to allow you to take a look at this video and other clips. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Thank you.
Benue State people, they give Fulanis 14 days to come out in their state. That one is rubbish now. Nigeria is for everybody. It's not only for Benue State. Nigeria is for everybody, let me tell you. They don't have that right to chase all Fulani in their state. Whether to state peace with Fulani or just to leave Benue State. You can see the number of cows they are killing in Benue State in this season. They are killing innocent Fulani in Benue State. You didn't say anything, but now, after this strike, you go there, be saying nonsense. So you have to be very careful. This is just the beginning. This is just the first strike. So Nigeria are not like government to be careful, very dark now.
What Mr. Aleva from United Kingdom said that, look, I mean, it's as if everybody is conspired against the people of Benue. That is the impression. And to the extent that those of us who are not from those regions, we must also raise our voices. Our leaders outside of politics must raise their voices. What is going on in Benue is something that should bother everyone. And
because today it is Benue and we don't know whose turn it will be next.
We don't know. And this is why we are human beings. This is why we are not animals. We show concern about the welfare of other people that are around us. We can see these things. We hear this news. We read it. We see the videos. It's all over the place. it's important for everyone to call the government that, look, when is it going to be over? What is the problem that we have with government not being able to solve this thing? From my own experience, it seems that the single most important person in this crisis is the president, the office of the president. And you are right. You know, in the 2015 and 2023, when I served, I worked with the vice president, we expected that, okay, President Buhari, being a Fulani man, will be able to talk to his people and bring exactly kind of authority to end it. He did his own little best, but was it enough? The ball is now in the court of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to rise up in courage and boldness. The office of the presidency in Nigeria is powerful enough to get this thing over.
What would you like to see? As the president goes to Benway today, what would you like to see?
Well, I mean, two important things are, number one, these killings have been going on, and we don't see arrest, we don't hear of arrest, we don't hear of prosecution, and so there is a reign of impunity. So what is happening? Why aren't people being arrested? Why aren't people being charged to court? Why don't we see the trial so that we know that there is impunity? And that goes to the head of the issue. So there is injustice. And so because of that injustice, you see that the people that are supposed to be protected by the state are exposed. And then those who are behind this violence, they are encouraged. They keep doing it. They just attack anytime. Look, in the last, between February and now, I understand that there must have been almost close to 1,000 people that have been missing, killed, burnt, all kinds of ways that people's lives have been wasted. That is not a joke. Now, all these things are going on because, first of all, there's no law enforcement. There's no law enforcement. There is no prosecution. We have not heard that anybody has been jailed. The chief of defense staff spoke yesterday, and I think that shows that somebody is thinking. I said that, look, maybe we have to start to give security training to the youth of the place. Because, that is a man that is thinking. I wish that the president can also rise up and say, look, let us stop. It's not about the president telling the governor not to go to convey reconciliation. Yes, there should be reconciliation, but the first thing that has to happen is that let us show that there is justice. Let us enforce the law. Let us protect the people, and then we will have reconciliation. But the president cannot be asking the governor to bring about reconciliation when the president is in control of the instrument of force, and they can't use those instruments of force to protect the people.
Well, this conversation will certainly go on because we know that, well, when the president visits today, there certainly will be reactions that will come out of it. The people of Benue are expectant, and we certainly, I think at some point there must be a line drawn in the sand to say, look, so far and no farther. It does appear, this particular issue, this issue from Benue and Plateau were really big headaches for the Buhari administration, because at the time, the fact that the president was of the Fulani ethnic origin also complicated how people thought he handled the situation in Benue. Well, now we have a situation where the president is not Fulani, and yet it does appear that the narrative hasn't quite changed. Is there something, this is a narrative though that is being resisted by the people of Benue, that this is not what is happening. So it's unclear what exactly is going on. Do you think that there is sufficient intelligence, or is it that we're not quite seeing the picture? Because when the president, reiterates his directive to the security chiefs to implement his earlier directive as if they willingly flouted it, which, calls to question a lot of things. I mean, that statement is pregnant with meaning. Right. But then the president also speaks to the governor of the state, asking him to convene reconciliation meetings and dialogue among warring parties to end the incessant bloodshed and bring lasting peace. This is basically what people have said. There are no warring parties here, that this was basically an attack on a vulnerable community. What exactly informs this sort of narrative coming from the presidency?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that it is reasonable to assume that to the extent that the people who are being subjugated and harassed and killed also once in a while will try to assert themselves, you know, which is what is then described as a reprisal attack. But I think that anybody that is suggesting that what is happening is not a consistent onslaught against the people of Benue by some certain intruders, you know, anybody that is denying that is quite, you know, just being ridiculous. What is happening in Benue, you know, and to some extent in Plateau, is a sustained attack on the people in those places. In this particular case, Benue, it's a sustained attack over the years, persistent. And as a matter of fact, it would seem that those who are behind the attack have an agenda. There is a particular goal that they are seeking. Okay, so that is the real thing. Now, people call it all kinds of names in order to deflect the issues for all, you know, reasons, ethnic reasons, political reasons, to politically correct. What is happening in Benue is that that part of the country has been under a sustained, consistent onslaught for several years, where essentially the people in the state are being killed, their land being taken over by intruders. Finish. Now, there are other dimensions, you know, of conflict, you know, yes, of course, there are elders and farmers clashes are also, you know, there somewhere, you know, but the main picture of what is happening to anybody who wants to have an objective look is that, look, the people of Benue are under a sustained, ongoing, persistent, prevalent attack against the people and their land.
Just to, you know, also put it in context, I understand that now there's been an update on because initially I think it was 2 days ago, the governor came out to say that about 59 people were said to have lost their lives. He did also say that it was an ongoing count, and right now they can confirm that 151 persons were killed in the Yelwata attacks, with 127 persons buried. 18 persons yet to be buried, 2 in the mortuary at the teaching hospital, while 4 more corpses were recovered from the bushes. Meanwhile, the number of those burnt in the attacks is uncertain due to recovery challenges. So this figure we're looking at, this 151 we're looking at, does not include those who were burnt, who were charred beyond recognition. So one has to ask the question, what precisely will be the motive of people like this? I mean, what will push people to kill people in such an inhumane manner?
And very gory, you know. I think we should shift the attention on those whose duty it is to provide for the security and welfare of the people. Okay, that is what we should, because this has been going on. Of course, it inflicts our humanity. It's an onslaught. It's an assault on our consciousness, on our awareness as human beings. Each time that it happens, this is a very gory picture. But this has been going on forever. So we have to continue to put the blame where it has to be. Those of them in government, both at the state and federal level, particularly at the federal level, who control security, they have to stop this.
And when you mentioned that all these people are phoning you from abroad, when they ask you, why is this happening, what do you say to them?
Well, I think that the story of Benue is very much known abroad, much more than we tend to think about it here, because the story, whether of Boko Haram or whether of herders and the situation in the Middle Belt, is actually one that the media in Europe is very concerned about.
Well,
so,
what I'm asking is, what do you say to them is behind it? Is it competition for land? Is it fueled by religious and ethnic divisions? Is it something else?
Yes, this is a very good question you're asking, because I think that what actually has happened is that nobody is telling the truth about the problem in Benue and the Middle Belt. And we are wanting to be politically correct by saying, and I saw that in a major statement today, by saying that there is no religion involved in this crisis. Well, a statement today from the office of the SGF, for example, who said it's not about
Secretary to the government.
Yeah, Secretary to the government, who said there is no religion involved in this. There's no ethnicity. It's an economic situation.
And you believe that there is religion and ethnicity?
Of course, I do believe.
But tell us why.
Because this is not the first time. The people of Benue know that they have had an issue of jihadism in the past 100 years, that ended up in Benue. The people who took the jihad, who will never want to end, want to continue that jihad. The last jihad ended up in Benue. I used to joke with my Igbo friends and brothers and said, you know, Christianity is actually stabilized in Igbo land because we stopped the jihad in Benue. And so they want to continue that jihad, and the Benue is the center for them of that jihad. They believe that once they're able to overrun Benue, then they can reach the ocean, as they had always thought. And this is the narrative that nobody wants to talk about. We want to be politically correct, and therefore we are saying, oh, well, there's nothing religious about this, or there's actually nothing ethnic about this. You're talking about a people who are going into Benue to massacre people from week to week. And when the matter comes up, they say, oh, well, you know, please try and find reconciliation with the people. When did the Fulanis, who are doing the massacring in Benue, become members of Benue? The state was created in the 70s. The languages that are used on the radio are Tiv, Idoma, Igede, and Etulo. Where is the Fulani community in Benue? And now you are saying reconcile with the people who are there. How do you reconcile with the people whom you do not know? These guys come in the night, they come by river, they come by canoe, they get out of the canoe, they get out and go out and kill people, get back into the canoes and run back. They don't belong to Benue. They hope that continually, by decimating the people who are in the north of the Benue, they will be able to occupy that land, drive them out as they are, kill the people, they destroy the churches, they burn the homes, they take over, they take the people's food and offer to cows, and gradually they are inching into Benue. This is the situation, and that's the story which I like to tell anybody. And it's an unfortunate situation, because I think that the government is taking this matter not as seriously as it should. The same situation we have in Plateau, the same situation we have in Benue. Overrun Plateau, overrun Benue, and then move on. This is a story that must be told, and that story must be told openly, and we don't need to be politically correct. We want to be able to solve a problem. You must get to the root cause of the problem.
Indeed. And so, given what you're saying, although, as you said, the government of the Federation, I mean the SGF's office is disputing that, and so are some other people, what do you expect? I mean, it seems like, based on what you're saying, it's important for President Tinubu to actually go to Benue State and get to the heart of the matter. Because if what you're saying is the heart of the matter, then it's important for him to understand that, because that's the way to solve the problem, isn't it?
Precisely. And this is why I thought it's important for us to put this on the table. And President Tinubu must understand this before he puts petrol on the fire in Benue. Yesterday, the statement that came out from Bayo Onanuga said
that's one of the president's spokesmen.
The president's spokesman say that the people of Benue ought to reconcile among themselves, reconcile with the people who are killing them. Who are these people who are killing them? Do they know them? So how do you reconcile with someone whom you cannot even see?
That's a good point, because I put that point to the governor of Benway State when he was on this program yesterday.
Yeah. So how do you dialogue with someone whom you cannot see? The two of us are dialoguing now. You and I can talk about whatever issues. Those guys, nobody knows them. Nobody knows the address. They come in the night in hundreds. They kill in the night and they go. So the issue that is actually at stake here, which nobody is talking about, and I would like the president to address it. The United Nations is asking him to do so, and the Amnesty International is asking him to do so, and Pope Leo is asking him to do so, is to find out who is doing the massacring of the people, who is doing the killing, and to bring them to justice. Nobody is saying we must bring these people to justice.
So your assumption is that the president doesn't actually understand what is going on?
Precisely. I think he does not understand. He does need to understand the situation that's going on. And if he does not, then he goes in there and he can make a statement or make statements that are going to be inflammatory. They are going to make things worse. I think it's important for us to let the president know that there is a situation on the ground which he needs to understand properly and to address adequately when he's on the ground.
And you mentioned Pope Leo. I mean, he is the Catholic pontiff. Of course, he's the head of your church, the Catholic Church. I mean, he's been offering prayers in supplication over what has happened in Benway State, and his voice does carry a lot of political and moral weight. But I'm wondering whether or not he's getting involved in it because there's a religious, you're saying there's a religious element.
He has information in this regard. He has very clear and strong information in this regard, and that's why I'm saying, he would not want to get into the politics of Nigeria, but he's appealing because he knows that the people who are being massacred are members of his church. In fact, we are hearing that the bulk of the people who were killed in this attack are people who were kept in an IDP camp that is actually run by the Catholic Church. And so when that happens, then immediately through the nunciature and through the church in Nigeria, information gets to Rome, and he does that not only for Nigeria, but for whatever parts of the world where Catholics are affected. He makes appeals, but we are quite happy about this because it was so fast and so sharp, because it was he that actually brought to the awareness of Nigerians the seriousness of what happened in Yellowater, and I think that we're quite pleased with what he has done, and I think he has walking the consciousness of our Nigerian leadership, in the political class, on what is happening, because how many times have people been killed? There was a time under Otom's government where we buried 97 people. There were 97 corpses that were put together in the stadium in Makurdi, at which we had a mass and had to bury them. This is happening at Christmas. This is happening at Easter. This is happening in the New Year. At periods when Christians are meeting and celebrating, this is when these people strike, most of the time.
Well, let's look at potential solutions, because I seem to remember, you mentioned Governor Autumn. I seem to remember that he enacted a law for the prohibition of open grazing. The machinery appeared to have been set up for that law to be implemented. Livestock guards, we're told, were put in place to try to ensure that cattle do not graze openly and randomly. But there are allegations that the current government has relaxed all this. Is that a fact?
Yeah, well, I think that there was not a very clear understanding at the beginning of this present administration
The state administration.
The state administration,
Right.
yes. I think that in the course of the campaign, there was not a very clear understanding between one party and the other. But the problem has remained, because it is not a problem that actually began under Otom. It was there under Suswam's government, then under Otom's government, and the situation is exacerbated right now under the government of Father Alia, who is doing a lot indeed, unknown to many people, but trying to ensure that it does not escalate the situation.
Right.
It's trying to ensure that this can be taken care of. My worry at this particular moment is that the military is unable to carry out even the commands of the head of state, who say to them, for example, take care of this situation. He told us a couple of days back.
Unable, what do you mean?
Well, unable in the sense that they have not been able to move in to act.
Right.
And that is quite disheartening, because they could have done so much. There are groups of military attachments in Makurdi. And I can tell you, Charles, that it's like staying here at the Hilton, and there are people out around Asokoro who are attacking the city, and the military is here, and the military is doing nothing for week upon week and from month to month, and nothing is being done. So it looks as if there is some collusion between the military and these bandits, because the distance, if you know the distance where these people operate, it's so short that even if they walked on foot, they will be able to meet them halfway.
Well, I mean, we can't, obviously, I can't speak for the military. I don't know what the issues are. And we also have to be circumspect in why they have not been able to handle it. But it is a legitimate question that you raise as to why it has not happened. I mean, I don't think we have the answer yet, but there clearly is a reason. And I'm wondering, because you mentioned the state governors, I mean, a succession of them, these things have been happening, and you would have thought that they would have the kind of knowledge about what is going on in their states and would communicate that to the people who are coming there to try and solve the problem.
A very legitimate issue.
Yeah, but it just keeps repeating over and over. And I wonder also, even for the governors themselves, how, I mean, it's a very discomforting story, but how much it carries a message of helplessness for them over these almost daily killings, because I mean it sounds like a very sort of deeply worrying reminder that governors in Nigeria are supposed to be the chief security officers in their states, but they don't appear to have control over the security machinery in their territories.
Yeah, Charles, if you disarm a man or disarm a governor, he has no powers. He can do little or nothing. And that's what I think has happened, because I think that the leadership of this country has disarmed the leadership of the states when it comes to matters of security. Forget about the security vote and all that. What do you use a security vote for when you have no powers to command, whether it's the police or the army, to take care of bandits or who are killing your people? They will not move. But this is a very serious and worrying situation, and it should be even for the government, because...
But is there anything more that you think the governor could be doing to quell the crisis in Benway State?
Well, Charles, you're asking me a very difficult question here, but I can attempt to answer, because I think that the people should be helped to protect themselves. They should be aided to protect themselves, because after years and years of attacks, the people are left helpless. There should be help to protect themselves. What help will not be for me to say, but the Constitution allows people or anyone to protect himself from an aggressor. So, what ways can be made available for protection should be done. I listened to an interview, some weeks back about of Governor Otom, who was saying that he wanted to be licensed to have the ammunition, firearms,
right?
So he could also face his people, And I laughed at it because I said, the guys who have the AK-47s, who licensed them? Who gave them licenses? So we are getting into a state of anarchy.
Well, they obviously don't have licenses.
They don't have licenses, yeah. And so
we're not going to allow people to be carrying guns. At random.
The situation right now, people are carrying guns.
Right.
Unfortunately, and we know they are carrying guns. I don't know how many guns there are, for example, in Benue, but I think it's the same set of guns. One day they're in Agatu, 200 of them. Another day they are in Kashimbila. That is from the Cameroon border towards Taraba, 200 of them. Another day they're in Nasarawa, 200 of them or more, and I think that they are in hundreds, and they have unlicensed guns. Why is nobody saying we must find these people who have unlicensed guns and who are killing our citizens? This is an issue at the heart of this conversation.
So, I mean, we mentioned, we're coming to the end of the conversation.
Yes.
We mentioned that President Tinubu is due to arrive in Benway State on Wednesday. I mean, that in itself, is that encouraging for you?
It's very encouraging indeed. And I do hope that he will have a good visit to Benue, and that he will open his ears to listen to the people, and that he will not carry with him conclusions taken from Abuja and presumptions which people would have put into his mind, that he will listen. And when he does listen, he will discover that there are aggressors who have decided to destabilize Benue and to destabilize Nigeria.
Right.
Destabilizing Benue is doing a lot of harm not only to the economy of Nigeria, but also to the food security of this nation. We have Zaki Biam out there that used to produce about 200, 300 trailers of yams every day going to different parts of the country. All that has ended.
Right.
There are other areas of food production in Benue that have actually come to a halt because of this. The farmers have run away from their homes, so there is even hunger in Benue.
This is how the headline says it. Benway killing. How come no arrest has been made? Tinubu queries IG. That's IG of police. Tinubu is querying. What kind of leadership do we even have in this country? To shock you to know that the police arrested 14 protesters. 14 protesters were arrested when they were protesting over this killing that happened in Benue State. I mean 14 people arrested by the Tinubu's government, by the IGP, by the police, but they did not arrest any of the Fulanis, that by people. You must have heard the man that came out to testify that a military man was even involved in this, that military is aiding the Fulani. So have you now seen why this fight is not going to end anytime soon? Now it will also surprise you again to know that the governor of Benue State sacked one of his aides who came out to protest. We all know that Benue citizens or residents came out to protest after that incident happened. An aide to the governor was among those who protested. Guess what? He has been sacked. And 14 protesters arrested. Hey, if you criticize them, they know your address. You can imagine what is happening in this country. So guys, a whole lot is happening, a whole lot. Now let's take some of the reactions coming from Nigerians as regards to this headline of Tinubu querying the IGP on why no arrest has been made. This person say, VDM, you do this one. Imagine he didn't go down to Yewata community to publicize the images, the gory images of the massacre. Our media outlets would have reported it in a very watered down manner, and the president won't visit to be asking the IG, okay, this critical question. So this guy is trying to say that you can imagine if VDM had not posted what actually transpired. So people wouldn't have even known the gravity of this attack. And then when it is being watered down, Tinubu will not even make out time to go and visit, because they'll say, it's a normal attack now. This one came heavily, you know. So, oh my God, I think now I understand what this guy is saying. Oh my God. Oh my God. If VDM had not posted that video, you know, oh my God. Oh my God. This person say, I still they laugh. Arrest who? Terrorists or protesters? This person is saying that they won't arrest, they will arrest the protesters. Oh, Nigeria is gone. As long as Tinubu remains clueless and appears not to know what to do since he grabbed power, he will continue to be running around in circles like a lost chicken. I've never seen a clueless government in the world than this Tinubu regime. Make I hear word. Illegal IGP to arrest illegal bandits. How possible is it? In fact, both of you are illegal. Nigerians are reacting that Tinubu has not even been following the trend of what has been going on in Benue state. And this person say they arrest protesters. Or is that not an arrest? This person say, hi. They will soon go to the town now arresting random youths to impress their incompetent president. This one say, imagine he is just asking IG why arrest has not been made. If not for criticism from PO for Peter Obi, Atiku, and other opposition figures, he wouldn't have visited the victims. All he was interested in is defection of politicians to APC. Hey, Tinubu. Tinubu. Good question. This is why it's good to elect an energetic person. Hey, as president who moves around for first-hand information that depend on criminal sorcery than depending, oh my God. Please, if you live anywhere near the affected areas and you are a young person, please leave, because they will arrest anyone they see on the street and parade them persons involved in the killing. Young men in Benway remain indoors, so indiscriminate arrest may soon begin. Exactly, this is the right question to ask. How come no arrest was made? Hey, Tinubu just woke up from his sleep, and this person says, see jam question. See jam question. This person said they all know who is responsible. The Fulanis in the military are responsible. Nigeria doesn't need to vote in any Fulani into any elected position until they confess to their crime against the Nigerian state. God. So guys, I will just stop here. Honestly, you need to see this question, these responses, the reactions are very, very interesting, you know. Nigerians are not happy with what Tinubu is doing. What kind of cluelessness is this? My God. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Thank you.